some little bit of technical difficulties, but I believe we are good now. I think we're on. Just want to confirm we're on, inshallah, before I start the lecture for today. Okay. There we go. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem, amma ba'd. Before we begin today's session, I do just want to remind us that it's in the month of Ramadan. It's the month of giving. Please do consider supporting and donating to the Islamic Center of Aubrey. One of the most unique things about this masjid and its administration is that they have a very honest response to their balance sheet. When they have their earnings, they say, Alhamdulillah, we have. When they don't have, they say, we don't have. But it's not like some organizations and masjids that even when they have, they say, we don't have. And I find that to be very dishonest and disingenuous. So one of the things I really appreciate, especially about Yusuf and his team, is that very, very straightforward. When they have, Alhamdulillah, they're grateful, they're thankful to Allah. They don't make it seem like, oh, we don't have. They do shukr of it. And, in this whole COVID-19 and stuff, the days they got it, they were, alhamdulillah, they were grateful. So do support this. I think that they have a very noble vision. And I think that they utilize their finances very well. And I think that you should definitely support them. So if you can, support them. And not only that, ask your friends to support them as well. Because, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Anyway, continuing on with today's class. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu says, meat was sent to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam from someone. From it, the forequarter was presented. He loved it, meaning the front arm part. He loved it, and the Prophet would eat the meat like this. He would bite from it. Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu says that the Prophet loved meat of the front leg. And in the Battle of Khaybar, there was a part that was poisoned. The Prophet of Allah was told about its poison, but the Prophet still ingested it. And it is said that Allah suspended the effect of the poison and then activated it at the time of the Prophet's demise. So the Prophet ﷺ had the martabat of shahada as well. Abu Ubaid radiallahu anhu says, I cooked a pot of food for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the Prophet ﷺ loved the dhira, the front leg. I served that portion, and the Prophet ﷺ said, give me another. So he cooked a goat, so he asked for the front leg. The Prophet said, give me one. He gave it. The Prophet said, give me another. He gave it. And the Prophet ﷺ said again, give me another one. I said, Ya Rasulullah, a goat only has 2 front legs. The Prophet of Allah said, I swear by Allah, if you kept quiet, you could have served me every time I requested one. The barakah of listening to your ustad, the barakah of listening to the mashayikh, that the barakah of it would have come if you listened. But if there is no listening, the barakah won't come. Aisha radiallahu anhu says, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam liked the dhira of a meat not because of its tastiness, but because meat was only available occasionally. And this portion of the meat cooked quickly. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also liked it as if it saved time and he could return quickly to his commitments. Abdullah bin Ja'far radiallahu anhu says, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the best meat is the back portion. Meaning because the back portion is tender, there's no muscle to it. It hasn't been strained. So that's why the meat is good. The meat that is attached to the bone is the most tastiest meat. That meat is the tastiest, the one that's attached to the bone. Abu Musa Ashari radiallahu anhu says the Prophet ﷺ said the position of Aisha over other women is the position of tharid over other food. Tharid is basically bread broken up with some liquid and some meat. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu says that he once saw Rasulullah ﷺ eat a piece of cheese and then perform wudu. Then he saw him at another time eat a shoulder of goat and perform salat without performing wudu. Perhaps the Prophet ﷺ was washing his hands. Prophet ﷺ didn't have wudu, or the Prophet ﷺ wanted to refresh his wudu. So he's trying to say that the Prophet ﷺ wasn't consistent in doing wudu when eating food. Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu says that the Prophet ﷺ celebrated the walima of Safiya radiallahu anha with dates and saweet. Safiya was a princess, but what was the princess of this dunya and the king of the akhirah, as we call him, the king of Jannah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What was their walima? Dates and some halwa, that is it, some sweet, some little halwa, some type of buttery sweet, and some dates. That was the walima of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Salma radiallahu anhu says that Hazrat Hassan, Hazrat Abdullah ibn Abbas and Abdullah bin Ja'far Siddiq radiallahu anhu came to her and said, "Cook for us the food that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam liked and ate with pleasure." She replied, "Oh my children, you will not like it now. They come out, we want to taste how the Prophet ate. You can't handle it. Of course, we will surely like it." She got up and took a bit of barley, crushed and put it in a pot, poured a little bit of olive oil over it, crushed some chilies and spices. Chilies over here means like salt and stuff. Otherwise, they didn't have chilies there. And added it to the pot and served it, saying, "This is what the Prophet ﷺ loved and ate with pleasure." What was it? Barley made with some olive oil? Like, we would not even be able to eat the food the Prophet ﷺ ate. We would vomit it out. But the Prophet ﷺ didn't come to this dunya just to eat. When we sit at iftar, it's as if like the whole purpose of the fast was iftar. That the whole reason we've been not eating for the last 14 days is so that we can go at 100 miles per hour and just devour everything at the table. The purpose of iftar is not to overeat. And the mahol of the home should also not cook so much. The culture of the home should not be of overeating. The culture of the home should be cook, enjoy the food, don't waste it. Enjoy it, don't waste it, eat what you need, and work on your spirituality. Yes, you can do something different here and there, but every single day, every day, going overboard, this is not from the prophetic way. The Prophet ﷺ said, Jabir radiallahu anhu says that the Prophet ﷺ came to our house, we slaughtered a goat in his honor. The Prophet ﷺ said, "It is as if they knew we adored meat. It is as if they knew we loved the meat." If you have questions, you can comment it. Inshallah, we'll get to the questions after. Munzir radiallahu anhu says, the Prophet ﷺ visited me. Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu was with him. We had some bunches of dates hanging. The Prophet of Allah began eating from them. Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu also began eating with them. Rasulullah ﷺ stopped him, saying, "You just recovered from your illness and you should not eat this." What does this show? That dieting is part of a cure. If you don't diet well, you're going to get sick. Diet is most of your shifa. The Prophet Ali radiallahu anhu stopped and the Prophet ﷺ continued eating. Munzir said, "I then cooked some barley and beetroot. The Prophet ﷺ said to Ali radiallahu anhu, 'Eat this, it is suitable for you. This is good for your health. Try this thing.'" This is the love the Prophet had with his son-in-law. That feeding him, eating him, caring for his health. How many father-in-laws care for their son-in-laws like this? The father-in-laws hope that their son-in-law choke on something and get sick and go to the hospital. But have this type of love that they had between the Prophet ﷺ and Ali radiallahu anhu. Al-Mu'mineen Aisha radiallahu anha says the Prophet ﷺ used to come to me and ask if there was any food available. When I would say no, he would say, "I fast today." That's why you don't need niyat in a nafil fast, as long as this happens before midday. You can't wake up at 5 p.m. and then say, "Oh, is there no food today? Okay, I'm fasting." No, this has to happen early in the day. Once when Rasulullah ﷺ came and inquired, I replied, "We have received a present." The Prophet ﷺ asked, "What is it?" She said, "Malida." It's a type of cake made of dates, cheese, some flour, butter. He said, "I had made the intention of fasting today." He then ate from it. This shows that if you are fasting and you go to someone's home and there's a dawat, then the sunnah is to break your nafil fast, because people may be offended. But if it's someone that you're cool with and they understand, they haven't really prepared anything, go to someone's house like, "Hey, do you want to eat?" and they haven't really made any special arrangements, then you continue your fasting. This is in the situation when someone makes special arrangements for you. And that shows by default that if you go to someone's house for a dawat, you should eat a little extra to make the host happy. That is the sunnah. And even your mother's food or your father's food, eat a little extra, or when they tell you the first time, beta, try some more, eat a little extra that time, just for the sunnah of making them happy. The first time you ate, for yourself. The next bite you take is for them. And Allah will bless you for making them happy. Yusuf bin Abdullah bin Salam says, I once observed the Prophet ﷺ take a piece of bread and put a date on it and say, this is the curry for this bread. He then ate it. So today, do the sunnah. Take some bread, take a date, and eat bread and date together today. Taste bread and date together. Just have one bite and see. At least you act on one sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. How many of us will do this? If you're going to do this today, inshallah, comment in the comment box. If you will do this, inshallah, I will do this today, inshallah. Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu says the Prophet ﷺ, once after relieving himself in the toilet, came out, meaning in the jungle. There wasn't a toilet in those days. And he was served food. The Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, will you not perform wudu? The Prophet ﷺ said, do I have to perform salah? That the wudu must be performed? That means that there were times when the Prophet didn't have wudu. Not all the time. Most of the time the Prophet ﷺ had wudu. But it also shows that just because someone isn't doing a good deed immediately, you shouldn't look down upon them. Like if someone isn't, to rebuke someone for something that isn't haram is haram. To rebuke someone or to scold someone over something that's not haram is haram. Mufti Taqi Usmani says, "Ghair munkar par munkar karna munkar hai." That Allah didn't make this haram, but you didn't see that person do it. Now you treat it like they're doing haram. This is haram on you. For example, Allah didn't make wearing a hat farz. Yeah, the Prophet wore his sunnah. It's very good. We should do it. But it's not a sunnah muakkada. The Prophet never commanded us to do it. He never said, wear a hat. And if a person sees another person without a hat and says, oh my God, look at that person. They're not wearing a hat. Allah is not holding them accountable and they don't have a sin for it. But you just judge someone and therefore you get the sin of judging someone and doing hiqara to your Muslim brother and sister. So while them not wearing that hat, they don't get any sin or anything. But you just fell into sin for judging them. Now, this is different if you're praying salah, because the adab or the etiquette of salah is that the Prophet ﷺ always wore a hat during prayer. That's different. In salah, you should always wear a hat. Now, at a meal, during eating, the Prophet ﷺ never advised or said or anything about covering a head and eating food. This is a very common thing in people, that, oh, you have to cover your head while eating food. Yeah, it's adab, it's respect, but you don't have to. There's no hadith or verse in the Quran about this. If a person feels that you have to wear your topi while eating food, then that's a bid'ah. And you'll get sin for it, because you added something in Islam that Allah and His Messenger didn't add. Salman Farsi radiallahu anhu says, I have read in the Torah that performing wudu, washing hands, after eating increases barakah. I mentioned this to the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet said, washing hands before and after, and the mouth as well increases barakah. That is why even if you're eating with spoon or fork, wash your hands and then eat, so that you get the barakah of it. Can I ask a question? Ask the messenger, you haven't seen it yet. I don't know what that even means, but if there's a question, you can ask a question. We'll take a question or two if anyone has a question right now. Just ask the question. You don't have to say the story behind the question. When people ask questions, they give a whole story. Just the question is the main part is just the question. We have 1 minute, so if you can put the question in within the minute, we'll answer it, inshallah. Okay, if there isn't any questions, please do support the masjid and in any capacity that you can. May Allah put barakat and bless them, and share it. If you can't give anything financially, just make a message and say, hey, this is their link, support them. Put it on your WhatsApp, put it in your friends groups, push it. You never know who is going to be the person that will donate. You never know who's going to go support it. And then you'll get the sadaqah jariyah for that person, even though you're not the one donating it. Okay, inshallah. We'll ask the question tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.